Construction started by way of Frank Bennett in the early 30s. He was a young fellow, recently married. He saw a clerk of works job advertised in Lismore. So this is pre-World War II. He came up to Lismore, worked a couple of years here as a clerk of works, and during that time noticed that most of the builders around here were only doing cottage work, and there was only one builder doing any commercial work, so he saw an opportunity to branch out to do commercial work. So after a couple of years, with the contacts he'd made during his position as clerk of works, he established Bennett Constructions. So that happened in 1938.
Started out as a carpenter. Very early on in my time with Bennett's, I was told I was part of the family. You're conscious of the fact that you are a Bennett man, and what you show to the clients you have is Bennett. So you do the right thing, you work hard, you have a rapport with people because you are part of that family, and that's what you're portraying, and that's important.
I started back with Bennett's in November in '75 as an apprentice back then. I've been working for them for 43 years now, and you can count the days I've had off probably on your hands. Bennett's have always been a pretty good company to work for. They have plenty of work all the way through the years, so pretty reasonable company, I reckon.
Look, anybody who's lived in Lismore knows about Bennett's. They've been integral to our city for so many years. You know, you can walk around town, you can drive around town and point to the buildings they've constructed over such a long period, and they're buildings like City Hall and our new art gallery that have shaped our community.
The Bennett's marriage to our club, let's call it a marriage because that's what it is. Our aim of our club is to develop juniors. And I remember Cole Bennett and Kevin at this meeting both saying, that's what we want to do. We want to develop junior rugby, we want to develop junior sport, and we want to commit ourselves to the community. They were just a wonderful company to deal with, wonderful people. You know, we can't thank them enough.
Though Electrical's been around since 1964, my old man started it, and we've probably been working for Bennett's, I'd say, from the early 70s.
Bennett's has played a significant role and made a significant contribution to master builders, particularly in the 80s, 90s and 2000s. It wasn't often, in fact I can't recall any times where someone had a bad word about Bennett Constructions. And Kevin Dalton played a major role there in being the front of Bennett Constructions, and was considered a real gentleman, as was all of the representatives of the company.
Cole's success I put a lot down to his determination, but he was very involved. He oversaw everything from doing the estimates himself to being on site, running jobs. So he was very much in control.
Cole was a bloke I liked. He was some would say a hard man, but he was very particular about everything. He was particular about vehicles.
Cole was pretty good. He was a hard man if you crossed him, but fair if you did the right thing by him.
He was a bit of a likeable rogue in some ways, and I say that nicely.
I remember working once at the hire service that he owned. He'd come towards me and was quite visibly upset and said that he'd found somebody had had their feet on the crane dashboard, and when he finds him he's going to give him a flogging. It was stamped Bennett, and the view to the world was it was clean and it was tidy and it was well looked after, and it was a Bennett advertisement. And I think all their vehicles are Bennett advertisements, the same as their staff as Bennett advertisements.
Well, the school's 20 years old, and for about 15 years of that we've had a really strong relationship with Bennett's. We've constructed 6 major building projects with them. As the school's grown, they've supported us in every way, to provide great facilities for our kids and for our community. We've always enjoyed working with Bennett's. They're great people. They're certainly friendly and warm, but they're also very committed to their work, interested in high quality products. Their finishes are fantastic, which is exactly what you hope for.
The ethics, I think have always been there, and I think the Bennett name has always been regarded with decency and fairness and treating people well. So, and that's continued all the way through now, and it's the same now that it's under Lippman ownership.
Bennett's has been around for 80 years, and we've spent the last 3 years working with Bennett's on the building of Ballina Coast High School.
They're building such an amazing school here that is absolutely beautiful, but they actually value the position of this school and where it's at. For example, it's right in the middle of Ballina, and they respect that. They respect the people that they're building around and the town that they're building in. And I'm sure that they must be doing that in all the places that they're building places across New South Wales.
They've come to this contract with a very strong project team, a very good community-based company, and they come with a collaborative approach as well in terms of delivering projects in a collaborative way, not confrontational, which is an excellent way of delivering works.
They listen to us. They take on board that what we care about more than anything is the longevity of our school and the longevity of education as a lifelong process. And they've demonstrated that commitment to learning by the way they've listened to us, and they've continued to be on the path of learning as a business and as a representative of the legacy of education in Ballina.
The signature roof that caused a few headaches. Bennett's during the tender process brought to the table a unique structural design concept that actually enabled us to create the curves that we wanted to. We'd given up on the design and we had a faceted roof design. We wanted the curves, but we couldn't achieve it. And you know, Marty and the boys brought a new structural engineer to the table with some post-tension technology that hadn't been used before in Australia, and delivered the curves.
Look, I think when you come to Bennett's, it's all about heart for me. It's all about wanting something more than just a bit of concrete and a bit of steel. It's about having invested a bit of yourself into a project. So when I look at what they've done here for Lismore, I think they've won awards because it's not just about putting up something for people to look at, it's about inhabiting a building and doing something special.
Probably our most recent project that we worked on with Bennett's was the new commercial building in Lismore, and that was really the first commercial building for over 10 years and really presented a landmark quality project for the Lismore being a regional city.
Bennett's has been judged by its peers in the local building area and has won major awards, both in categories and as the major commercial builder of the year 2 years ago.
So we won the Best Hotel Design International Award, which was the big one that we managed to pull off, which was fantastic. And then we certainly won a number of Australian architectural awards for the region. And it was just a phenomenal collaboration from a design perspective. You know, we probably burnt a few out and we burnt ourselves out in the process because it was such a big undertaking, but the result is phenomenal, and our peers have recognised it with these awards, and also our customers continue to rave about the place, and that's what we're here for.
Lismore City Hall's one of our proud achievements. It was one of Cole's first buildings he did in 1963, which back in those days would have been a real significant project for him to take on in his early days. The Colin Marg Bennett show, and we were fortunate enough about 7 years ago to do a refurbishment of this building for Lismore City Council. So the whole wheel turned from being the original builder back in 1963 to coming along, you know, 7 or 8 years ago and doing a significant overhaul and refurb of the building, which we're very proud. So it shows the length of our association with our client, for example, Lismore City Council. So we've been building for them for well over 50 years.
Bennett's has changed from when I first started, and it's continually changed, and now it's changed again. Lippman's now are the new owners, and from what I can see, it's a bigger company now with the same heart, because I've worked for Bennett's and it has a heart, and it's always been important to me. And I see this as just another level with a bigger company with the same heart. It can only grow from here, so 80 years is only just a step to what could be.
I see the future of Bennett Constructions under Lippman ownership is just going to forge ahead stronger and stronger. So I'm just expecting to see more and more Bennett banners around when I drive around.
You want to hear good stories about these builders and their past jobs, and I think Bennett's have managed to maintain a really good presence locally, but also an excellent reputation.
It's been a fantastic 80 years for me personally. I'm sure that it's been a wonderful 80 years for the family, and I only wish them another 80 years of the same and more.
Look, it's interesting when you walk around town and see the structures that have been built by Bennett's over the years. You're talking about a company that's actually defining the look of Lismore for generations to come. So I have no doubt that future projects, major projects, will be completed by Bennett's here in Lismore, and they'll continue to influence our community moving forward.
Bennett's are helping us in the future to grow good young men and women who will contribute meaningfully into the world in which we grow old.
I was absolutely elated that they retained the name Bennett's. And that just goes to show you how good a name Bennett's had. Like a company of that size, the Lipton Group, if they didn't think the Bennett name was a good name, they would have changed it. And that just goes to show you the type of company that they were, and the staff that they had, and the work, the jobs that they were doing.
Now with Lippman coming on board, it's given the Bennett name the opportunity to step up to some even larger projects, which I think we all knew that they were capable of doing. But having Lippman involved has probably given that a little bit more of an impetus to secure those projects.
All the best for the 80th birthday, and also all the best for the future generation of Bennett Lippman construction projects.
It's been a great journey for me, and it's a lifetime of memories.